Good morning, everyone. My name is Nancy McGraw, and I'm the Program Manager for Tourism Quality Assurance, or TQA, as we also like to call it. I'm going to be one of your facilitators today for today's webinar. Before we get started, again, just a quick reminder that if you could mute your phone by pressing *6, and when you want to make a question, a comment, or ask a question, just press #6. And also, there is a chat window. If you are following us online and not on the phone, you can certainly use the comment section there to ask a question. We have lots of people here helping us monitor it, so throw out any questions that you would like. And you can even raise your hand there using the little symbol on top of the screen if you wanted to do that. So thank you for joining us for our webinar on TAP Refresher 101, which is the Tourism Assurance Plan. So before we get started, I want to acknowledge my colleagues who are here with me today. Melissa Ennis is the Manager of Policy and Communications with H&L, and she's going to be helping me present today's webinar. My colleague in Tourism Quality Assurance, Gail Dick, who many of you would be familiar with from the Canada Select program, and Jennifer Brown, who's the Technology Resource Coordinator for Hospitality Newfoundland Labrador. And Jennifer's going to be helping us with our technology support for our presentation today. She's going to be recording the presentation so that we can have it available as a future reference. And also Allie Borden, who's the training coordinator with H&L, is here with us as well. Today's presentation is actually the last of 4 webinars that we've presented on TQA's programs. Just want to give a little bit of an overview there on Tourism Quality Assurance, or TQA. So the goal of TQA is to raise the level of quality in tourism products and services in Newfoundland and Labrador. And we do this through our Canada Select and Camping Select programs, in which we inspect and rate roofed accommodations and campgrounds in the province, helping operators raise the level of quality in their establishments. And also the Access Advisor program, which is a program that provides much-needed auditing of accessibility and designates different levels of accessibility for any business or event. As well, we have our newly introduced Welcome programs. The Welcome programs consist of Pets Welcome, Cyclist Welcome, and Motorcyclist Welcome. These programs are designed to assist tourism operators who wish to attract these travelers by offering specific services that cater to these markets. And of course, TQA are also partners of the Newfoundland and Labrador Tourism Board and provide validation for the Tourism Assurance Plan, or TAP, which is the reason for our webinar today. So if you are following along online today and you want to share your thoughts on social media, please feel free to tweet or post, and you can use the hashtag #everyoneiswelcome. So if there's no questions there before we get started and everyone can hear us clearly, we'll get on with our presentation. So we're just going to get started with an overview, I guess, of what we hope to accomplish today. We're going to provide some background information that was actually critical to the development of TAP. We're going to provide an update on what's happening with product development. We're going to dive right into then the Tourism Assurance Plan, which is and why it's important in our industry. And we're actually going to review the 5 minimum standards. Everyone has a role to play in TAP, and we're going to review some of the roles of our partners with a focus on TQA and where we fit into ensuring the success of TAP. And then we'll have a look at where we go from here. So as noted, this is a refresher. There's not really any new information here except perhaps TQA's role in TAP, as Canada Select had been transformed into TQA after TAP had been introduced. So sometimes it's good to have a reminder as to why something like TAP is necessary in our industry. It keeps us focused on where we're going, and that's really what we hope to accomplish today. And we should be clued up in time for some questions and have you on your way within the hour. And I'm actually going to pass it over to Melissa here now.
Hi, everyone. As Nancy said, my name is Melissa Ennis, and I'm the Manager of Policy and Communications with Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador. The first thing I'm going to talk about this morning is to just provide a little bit of background about where something like the Tourism Assurance Plan and other initiatives in our industry stems from. And many of you may have heard or be aware of what we call in the industry Vision 2020, formerly known as Uncommon Potential, a Vision for Newfoundland and Labrador Tourism. This vision was launched in 2009 and serves as the strategic plan for tourism in Newfoundland and Labrador. 6 years after that original launch, the Tourism Board, which is the governing body responsible for the implementation of Vision 2020, embarked on a process to update, refresh, renew the provincial tourism strategy and ensure that it remains accurate and up-to-date as we proceeded through. As you know, a 10-year strategy is not something that you want to just start off with in the beginning and run through for 10 years. You have to make sure that it remains relevant part of the way through the process. So that happened 6 years in, around 2015. The refresh strategy reflects the accomplishments that were already achieved, as well as the challenges that were remaining, putting a renewed focus on what the priorities must be heading into the home stretch towards 2020. And I guess that's a good point. I should have mentioned that the crux of the vision is to double tourism revenues by the year 2020. And when we say double, that's over the tourism revenue amount that was accurate at the time in 2009. And so that number for the double number for 2020 is $1.6 billion. The strategy includes 7 strategic directions that will ensure the success of the vision. Those 7 directions are listed on the screen there. The private-public leadership is the Newfoundland and Labrador Tourism Board, which consists of both government and industry players who sit around the table and are responsible with ensuring we achieve that vision throughout the 10 years. Strategic direction number 2 is sustainable transport network. Then there's market intelligence and research strategy, experience development, tourism technology, marketing our brand, and developing our workforce. So those are the 7 pillars basically that make up Vision 2020 and how we hope to achieve doubling those tourism revenues by the year 2020, which, as you know, is not very far away anymore. So you can read more about the vision. You can read about all 7 strategic directions. All of that is available online at uncommonpotential.com. So we also said that we would like to provide an update on product development in the province. That was strategic direction number 4 that you saw on the last slide. When the vision was refreshed in 2015, that was renamed from product development to experience development. The terms are kind of used interchangeably in the industry, but the term product sometimes was a bit misleading. Some people think of it as a physical product you can hold in your hand, whereas what we sell in tourism oftentimes is an experience. Products are definitely part of it, but experiences seem to be a more accurate term to describe that direction. So many of you may have participated in the destination development planning processes. Those have happened over the last number of years in all 5 regions of the province: Labrador, Western, Central, Eastern, and the Northeast Avalon. And they're pretty much still ongoing. The final reports are all available online from the early phases of research. And the destination development plans, the whole point of that process was to assist in identifying the opportunities in each region of the province, how they may be linked, and what the priorities may be. So the link is there on the screen, and I believe we're going to share this PowerPoint presentation after the webinar is over, so you can follow that link and you can have a look at any of the 5 reports for each 5 regions. The DDP plans came together, and they were kind of the basis that formed the Provincial Tourism Product Development Plan. So that was launched earlier this year by the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador. There's a link there as well where you can check that out. Excuse me. And this PD plan reflects the collective private and public tourism development priorities for the entire industry, and is kind of the culmination of the regional destination development plans. The focus of the PD plan is on enhancing and creating high-quality, high-value, people and program-based experiences that celebrate our people, place, and culture.
Perfect. Thanks, Melissa. So now we'll actually get started right into the Tourism Assurance Plan. So by definition, Tourism Assurance Plan is Newfoundland and Labrador's Tourism Assurance Plan is designed to elevate traveler confidence in local tourism services and attractions by ensuring that all organizations promoted in Newfoundland and Labrador meet common minimum standards. So basically, it's the Newfoundland Labrador Tourism Board which are leading the effort to elevate the quality of tourism services and attractions that are available in the province. And by establishing these common minimum standards, industry partners are aiming to promote tourism organizations that provide quality travel experiences and to assist tourism services and attractions improve the way they operate. Currently, these standards must be met in order for tourism services and attractions to participate in provincial marketing and development initiatives and to qualify for membership in Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador and participate in partner membership activities with regional destination management organizations. So why is something like TAP important? TAP is important in order for Newfoundland and Labrador tourism to remain competitive with other national and international destinations and in order to ensure sustainability of the industry in our province. And by remaining competitive with other destinations, we're ensuring that our customers return again and again. Delivering on our brand promise, we have a wonderful brand here in Newfoundland and Labrador, and TAP is really about helping us to deliver on that brand. Travelers today are very smart, and they have a certain level of expectations when they travel. And TAP is really about supporting tourism operators by providing the standards that we need in order to deliver on that brand. TAP is the first step in providing assurance to travelers about the quality of tourism services and attractions that we have and are promoting here in the province. And in order to be included in the provincial and industry memberships and partnership opportunities in Newfoundland and Labrador, all tourism services and attractions must meet the 5 common standards or be TAP approved is a term that you'll hear periodically. And that would be one of the key things, I guess there are a couple of key things would be to be included in the Traveler's Guide that the province puts out each year and to have a listing on newfoundlandlabrador.com. And that listing on newfoundlandlabrador.com gets over 2 million hits a year, so that's a very important place to be in today's travel industry. Under the guidance of the Newfoundland Labrador Tourism Board, which is comprised of representatives from Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador and the 5 regional destination management organizations and provincial and federal governments, TAP became the first initiative that was aimed at achieving Vision 2020 strategic priorities for quality assurance. Back in 2014, TQA went under a bit of an expansion plan. It had originally been known as Canada Select, and the Board of Directors made some changes and wanted the organization to become the driving force behind quality assurance in the province. So we made some changes to our organization. There's currently no other organization in the province with a mandate and a capacity to provide these specific nonprofit quality assurance services to tourism operations. So while all partners of the Newfoundland Labrador Tourism Board have a responsibility and a role to play in quality assurance initiatives, TQA plays a unique role among these partners by being the organization with the resources, the capacity, and the mandate to inspect, rate, and validate tourism services and attractions throughout Newfoundland and Labrador. So basically what that means is while we are already out, we are in the province, we have direct contact with a lot of tourism operators already throughout the Canada Select program, we have the opportunity to be there and to do that validation. So checking on, make sure email addresses are correct and up to date, that you're in compliance with the complaints procedure. And we'll get into more of the standards here now shortly, but that basically is TQA's role, that we're providing that validation, that auditing to ensure that the criteria are being met, and that is ultimately the goal to ensure the success of the program. So we're going to start going through the actual 5 standards here now. Melissa's going to start us off.
Right, so standard number 1 is a bit cumbersome to read out, but just bear with me there for a second. The first minimum standard of the Tourism Assurance Plan that operators would be required to meet is the ability to communicate and receive messages from customers by telephone, email, and an online presence, and at a minimum, accept credit and or debit card payment, i.e. any form of electronic payment, and respond to inquiries on a daily basis. So effective and reliable communication increases consumer confidence in a business's ability to meet expectations and provide that memorable experience that travelers are looking for. Customers may be choosing between an experience provided by your business and one provided by a competitor, or even between our destination here in Newfoundland and Labrador or a different destination. Timely and effective communication with a prospective visitor can oftentimes mean the difference between losing or gaining a sale. Before we go on, I would just like to say we talk about these minimum standards and we say things like operators are required to meet them, but of course we would like to mention that the Tourism Assurance Plan is a voluntary industry-led program. There is no legal requirement that operators meet these 5 minimum standards, but industry and government have come together to agree that in order to be presented and marketed in the travel guide or marketed by destination management organizations when they're in travel shows, or be a member with Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador and participate in some of our activities. We have all agreed that for operators to participate in those activities, they should meet these 5 very minimum standards of running a tourism business in this province. So again, not legally required by anybody to participate in, but in order to get into those marketing channels, participate with the industry associations, that is when the TAP standards are required by an operator. We're just reading a question on the screen there now about stats with the tourism, where we are with the goal. I don't have those stats in front of me here right now. The provincial Department of Tourism, Culture, Industry, and Innovation has those types of numbers. And actually, we completed an exit survey in the year 2016, upcoming at our conference in February. There's going to be an update about that particular exit survey. Also, Premier Dwight Ball will be speaking at the conference as well. So we're going to hear an update from the provincial government that is going to probably address some of those questions and give us an update on where we are on our way to Vision 2020.
Perfect.
Okay, so standard number 2.
So standard number 2 is to possess and maintain valid licenses, permits, and all other regulatory requirements to operate. Licenses and permits that are necessary and required by law. Operating without these necessary approvals really puts customers and you as operators at risk. Organizations must meet municipal, provincial, and federal government regulations and policies that apply to their particular sector of the tourism industry. So those types of licenses, it's for your own safety as well as those of your customers that you meet all of those regulations and those permits.
Standard number 3 is to maintain current and sufficient levels of liability insurance. Liability insurance, as many of you know, as responsible business owners, is something that you're not going to be operating without. It's there to protect you and to protect your customers as well. It's vital to the success of a business. Any kind of unexpected legal expenses following an unforeseen accident or anything like that can potentially drive a business and its owners into bankruptcy. So something like liability insurance is may seem pretty common sense for the minimum standards that we're asking of operators. This type of insurance also demonstrates an organization's commitment to managing risk to its customers and its partners, which can increase their confidence in an operation and translate into increased sales and additional opportunities. And I'd just also like to point out that it's really important to remember that the businesses you work with, those that you partner with and package with, you should make sure that they are also fully insured and have the proper levels of liability insurance for their business. There have been examples in the industry and in other industries as well where that chain of liability can be traced back to other businesses who are partners or in some sort of working relationship with an offending business, we'll say. So for example, as let's say a bed and breakfast owner, if you refer one of your guests to a particular a boat tour operator who may be operating just down the road from you, if you're going to be making referrals to another business, you want to ensure that that business is also TAP approved, have sufficient levels of liability insurance, because if, God forbid, something did happen on that boat tour to your guests, and that boat tour didn't have the sufficient levels of liability insurance, that chain of liability can then be traced back to you, who does have sufficient levels of liability insurance because you made that referral to your guest. So things like that are just really important to keep in mind, especially when you're partnering with other businesses.
I'm just going to add a little bit there while we're still talking about the insurances. So that could be something that TQA will be looking at doing in future. When tourism operators fill out their TAP forms or their tourism operator profiles each year and submit them to the Department of Tourism, they're actually confirming that you do have that type of insurance. And it's like a self-noting or self-reporting process right now. So that could be something that TQA will be doing in the near future, as in asking for proof of this insurance. And that follows in line with our role in providing the validation for these TAP criteria. So the next standard, number 4, must deliver actual experiences or services being promoted and or offered to the consumer. And I think we've all kind of been in that situation where you're looking at booking a trip somewhere and you're wondering, that looks really good, but is that the best room that's in the house? Is that the actual experience that I'm going to get when I show up there? So promotions and advertisements represent a promise to the consumer. If the experiences or services do not match the promotion, the credibility and reputation of not only that business, but the entire Newfoundland and Labrador tourism industry could be put at risk. Organizations must accurately portray, deliver, and honor the products and services promoted in their marketing communications. They are also responsible for treating their customers fairly, with courtesy, and doing everything possible to resolve any situation with honor and integrity.
And lastly, number 5, must be in good standing with the Tourism Assurance Plan's complaints procedure. So occasionally, despite the best efforts on behalf of operators, a business or an employee may fail to meet a customer's expectations. In these circumstances, modern travelers also expect that their complaints and concerns will be heard and dealt with quickly. To meet this expectation, a complaint handling procedure is in effect. Should any partner, oftentimes that could be H&L, it could be a GMO, should any of our partners receive a complaint about a tourism service or attraction, that operator will be notified promptly in order to provide the opportunity to resolve the concern. The complaint will, of course, be assessed for legitimacy and will be referred to other agencies or government departments if appropriate. So, for example, here at Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador, we often do field calls from travelers who were less than satisfied with an experience they may have had somewhere in the province. And what we'll do is, we'll listen to that traveler, sympathize with them and the experience that they had, and we'll then refer them to Jackie Harnham, who is the Manager of Visitor Services with the Department of Tourism, Culture, Industry, and Innovation, and she keeps track of any of those complaints that come in through any of the partners, and keeps track of those and works with the operator, assesses the legitimacy, basically takes over from there, and takes that complaint into action if, indeed it was a legitimate complaint. So if 3 legitimate complaints are received and remain unresolved within a 2-year period, that service or attraction may be removed from marketing and partnership programs, making them not compliant with the Tourism Assurance Plan. The operator would be notified about this removal in writing, along with the conditions that will need to be met to be included in future marketing and partnership opportunities. Right, so there's a question on the screen there about how to ensure your partners are TAP approved. And one really easy way to do it is to check and see if that business is a member of H&L or a DMO, because in order to be a member of one of these associations, they have to be TAP approved. Or you can check and see if they are listed on newfoundlandlabrador.com. If they're listed on there on newfoundlandlabrador.com or in the Traveler's Guide, then they are TAP approved as well. And if those avenues don't work, you can give us a call, give your DMO a call, give the Department of Tourism a call, and we could check on that for you.
Okay, so there you have your 5 minimum standards. Nothing too far outreaching or anything here, anything that's too overwhelming, I don't think. Like I said, they are minimum standards. And if you have any questions or anything on any of the standards, there is lots of information available online, and we will provide that information as well. We'll send it out in a link after the webinar. Just wanted to have a look at kind of the process of where TAP has started and now where we're headed to. So while TAP was positioned as the first phase of quality assurance initiatives, and it established the minimum standards that all tourism services and attractions must adhere to in order to promote it as part of the Newfoundland Labrador Tourism Network. And it was understood that once TAP was integrated into the tourism industry, the next phase moving forward will be focused on expanding quality assurance programs to audit, rate, and validate the quality of other services and attractions. So that's where TQA kind of came into play with expanding our organization and becoming, like I mentioned earlier, the driving force behind quality assurance initiatives. So some of the additional quality assurance programs that have been introduced include the Access Advisor program. And this is a great program which verifies and designates levels of accessibility within a business or event, and also the welcome programs that I mentioned earlier. So these programs like Pets Welcome, Cyclists Welcome, and Motorcyclist Program are all designed to empower business owners and operators in order to attract these diverse markets. And we're going to be continuing to investigate other quality assurance programs and working with our partners of Newfoundland Labrador Tourism Board to see what additional areas we would need to be developing quality assurance programs. Right now there's a strong emphasis on implementation of destination development plan priorities and arming operators with the skills and knowledge they need to execute these plans through learning opportunities. Partners are getting into the regions and delivering our messages through the regional destination development opportunity sessions. And these sessions are extremely important to the success of TAP and ultimately to Vision 2020, as they provide great opportunities for engagement between industry and government. Alignment is key. Ensuring we're all working towards the same goals will ultimately guarantee our success as an industry. So I encourage you wherever possible to get out and attend any type of opportunity sessions that are happening in your region, not only for the information that's presented there, but just the networking opportunities and the opportunity to engage with other industry members and with government will provide you with great tools for success. So we're getting to the end here now, so just wanted to briefly introduce, when we talk about our partners, these would be representative of the partners that we have. Of course, Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador, the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador, the Department of Tourism, Culture, Industry, and Innovation, Destination St. John's, Legendary Coast, Adventure Central, Go Western Newfoundland, and Destination Labrador. This is an incredible organization, I find, for support. So while we've thrown a fair bit of information at you today, and of course it is a refresher, but any of the partners that are listed here on this page, in addition to ourselves, are more than happy if you have any questions on TAP or anything related to tourism industry. Everyone that's listed there wants you to succeed, you as a tourism operator to succeed in your business. So you've got a very strong support network there, so talk to them, get out there, and take advantage of it. And that actually brings us to the end of our presentation. I'm not sure if we've got any more questions on the line there. If you do have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat window, or you can unmute your phone by pressing #6 if you wanted to ask any questions.
So there's one question in there right now from Adventure Central regarding electric vehicles and an electric vehicle friendly program, almost like a certification similar, I suppose, to Pets Welcome or Cyclists Welcome. And I know we have heard from a lot of people. It is a bit of a trend in the industry right now as electric vehicles are becoming more popular and more accessible to everybody around the world. So that is something travelers who do travel by electric vehicle, of course, need those charging stations. And the most convenient places for them to have them are at restaurants and hotels, places where they'll be staying for an extended period of time. So that is an opportunity, a bit of a niche market still so far, but not too far in the future before I think it might become a little bit more popular. So if anybody has any questions about that, that particular market or thinking about implementing something like having a charging station on your property, you can certainly get in touch with us here at H&L. And we have one or two contacts who have more information about that we would be able to direct you to.
I guess just adding to that a little bit, when we speak about adding additional quality assurance programs, there is on the radar an environmental or a green destination designation, and we're going to be continuing to work with the tourism board as they identify priorities with that, but I expect that that may end up being a part of that process. So it certainly is on the radar.
Was it Shelley from Harbor House? Yes. Hi, Shelley. Seeing your question there about liability insurance. Really, when we talk about the liability insurance, specifically about partnering with other businesses, we're kind of just reiterating something that we feel is good business practice. Before you enter into any kind of formal agreement or partnership or put anything in writing between businesses, we just want to remind you that checking for things like liability insurance and other levels of proper insurance for a tourism business is important because you're putting yourself at risk by connecting yourself to another business, of course. So you want to make sure it's just a level of due diligence that we want to remind operators about that sometimes could get forgotten or placed a little bit of less importance on when working out some sort of partnership or packaging deal with a fellow operator. So we're not looking to, really police that so much ourselves, but so much as reminding an operator that that's something they should talk to the other operator about if they're going to partner with them.
Hello. Hello.
Hi. Hi.
This is Cindy Parmeter from Skipper's View Vacation or Bed and Breakfast in Point Leamington.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi. Talking about the liability insurance, it can be quite expensive, like about $3,000 per year. However, I called around last year and I was able to find a one with a reputable insurance company for about $1,700 for the year. So I don't know if I'm allowed to say the insurance company's name or not.
That would be up to you, as I'm sure most of us do anytime.
I can't hear you. Hello?
Can you hear me, Cindy?
Yes, I can now.
Okay, we'll just switch mics here for a sec.
Sorry, Cindy. As I was just saying, when it comes to liability, any type of insurance, as many of us do, of course, we always like to shop around to find the best quote from the best company, something that's going to meet our needs. So when it comes to, sorry, I've just lost my train of thought now that after my microphone died.
It's okay to say the name of the insurance.
Oh, yeah. So it's up to you if you'd like to share the name. What I was also going to mention is here at H&L, we often have what we call the member-to-member discount. So we have insurance companies in our membership that offer different special rates to fellow Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador members. And if you wanted to reach out and get in touch with our membership coordinator, Susie Green, she's on the webinar here today as well. Susie can talk to you about if there's any opportunities currently within our member-to-member discount program for insurance rates.
So, can she tell us there now what insurance companies offer a discount to members?
Susie is actually not in the room here with us. She's signed in remotely. She's typing a message there now, and all of that information is available online, but I would suggest following up with Susie. Maybe Jennifer or Allie could put Susie's contact information in the chat window here, her email address and her direct line, so that you guys could follow up with her after the webinar if you wish.
But the company, like I've been with the same company for years, but when I called around, my original company was saying it was going to cost me $3,000, but I found a better rate at the cooperators in Grand Falls for, like I said, about $1,700.
That's great.
So I did call the other B&B owners in the area too, just to let them know, because a lot of times we refer back and forth to each other.
For sure, that is something we hear about a lot as well with fellow operators, you know, getting a few referrals or checking out what they've heard from their peers and their colleagues in the industry to make sure that they're getting the best rate or getting the best deal on things like insurance.
Yeah, and like I find too that the you know, at first, when there's more than one B&B that opens up in an area, maybe the original B&B owners are not, you know, not liking it so much. But then after a while, you realize that because there are more accommodations available in your area, that there's actually, you know, your area gets more promotion because of it, right?
Of course, you need to be able to meet the demand. If you want the demand to grow, you need to be able to meet it in a particular area. So it's all about working together. And then when we say the idea of partnering, we mean that truly in a sense of we're all partners in the industry, and we want people to choose Newfoundland and Labrador as their destination. And then, you know, we may want them to choose a particular area of central Newfoundland or whatever area we may be operating in as part of their visit. So working together to draw in that promotion and that demand in your area is definitely a benefit for sure. Did anybody else have any questions, either using the chat window or by pressing #6 to unmute your phone line? So when we're talking about the Newfoundland and Labrador brand, Newfoundland and Labrador Tourism, which is a division of the Department of Tourism with the provincial government, they've spent many years kind of cultivating that brand. What you see in the TV ads, the internet ads, when you fly on Air Canada and you see those ads on the in-flight entertainment system, all of that is part of a particular brand that the province is putting out there to the world. And we're all a part of that brand, and we must deliver on the experiences being promoted in that brand. And that has been really successful for us. The tourism, Newfoundland Labrador Tourism has received hundreds of awards for their marketing efforts and campaigns over the last number of years. They've been really successful, and I'm sure many of you have had an interaction with a guest where they say, you know, I saw your ad on TV and I just had to come and see it for myself, or something along those lines. So those marketing efforts have been really successful. And if you want to learn more about the brand, we do have some webinars on file where Amy Fisher, who is the digital marketing specialist with Newfoundland and Labrador Tourism, talks about their online brand and their strategy. And Jennifer, who is our technology coordinator, she can point you in the right direction to where you can learn a little bit more about the specific brand. But when we say our brand promise, that's what we're talking about, the marketing promise that we're putting out there collectively as a province.
Are there any meetings coming up soon? Like for, I know we used to have like Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador AGMs and stuff like that. Is there anything coming up that you can give us dates for?
H&L has an annual general meeting every year. It is coming up in February. It's February 20th, actually. It's taking place here in St. John's at the Sheraton Hotel Newfoundland, and that is part of our annual conference and trade show, which is February 20th to the 22nd here in St. John's. So if you've never attended our conference, you can check it out online, hnl.ca/conference. You can learn all about, we're getting more program details up there every single day, but you can learn, there's a lot of different learning opportunities at the conference. There is the trade show, which focuses on suppliers to the tourism industry. as I mentioned earlier, Premier Dwight Ball will be speaking at one of the luncheons during the conference. But yes, our AGM is open and free of charge to anybody who is a member of H&L that you can attend to. There are often learning opportunities, and if you want to think about attending something in your region, the best people to talk to is your regional DMO. So whether that's Adventure Central or Legendary Coast of Eastern Newfoundland, Go Western, Destination Labrador, whoever, get in touch with them and they can let you know what's happening in your region. Were there any other questions?
Before, I just see Adventure Center has a question there, but before that, Wendy had asked, would you describe your services? And I'm not really sure what that means, Wendy, but if you wouldn't mind, which organization are you referring to in describing our services? So if you wouldn't mind putting a little clarification there in the chat window. But I'll move on to Adventure Central's question there on the cyclist program, cyclist and motorcyclist program. Those information on those programs has just recently been added to TQA's website, and that's tqanl.ca. And the information on how to sign up for them is there. It's very easy, so if you want to go online and check it out, or you can just send an email to myself or give me a call. And when we're doing our inspection season this year, we'd have no problem with dropping into your business, and we can give you the information beforehand so that you're all prepared, and then we can go ahead and do the validation and provide you with the tools in order to promote that you are cyclist welcome or motorcyclist welcome or pet friendly, or sorry, pets welcome. All right, so H&L services, Melissa, did you want to take that? And I think there was a question there on DDP as well, where that one's located. So.
Right, so I'm just getting the, to address Carl's question here about the public DDP reports. Carl, I'm pasting a link in there right now. That's where you can access all the final DDP reports for all 5 regions. It's the last post there by Nancy and Melissa. With respect to H&L Services, we are the Tourism Industry Association. We consist of members who make up the tourism industry in Newfoundland and Labrador, industry operators from all different subsectors, all different regions around the province. And we are here to serve the members as the industry association, act as your voice in the tourism industry, your collective voice. We focus on 3 different things, advocacy and communication. So when there are issues that are affecting operators, impacting your daily operations in the industry, there are several of those issues that we regularly advocate for, and we can have discussions about those offsides, or you can learn about pretty much all of them on our website at hnl.ca. Skills and knowledge development is the next thing that we focus on, so providing training opportunities for tourism operators and your staff to increase your skills, whether they be customer service training, food and beverage training for wait staff, responsible alcohol service training, technology training, anything like that. You can reach out to H&L and we can set you up with different training opportunities that way. And finally, membership and networking. So we focus on providing these services to our membership, providing networking opportunities, learning opportunities. Our flagship event is our annual conference and trade show, which happens in February every year, and that's really where you would maximize your learning and networking opportunities with a large portion of the industry that attends that event. So if you want to talk a little bit more about what H&L is, what we could do for you as a membership organization, definitely reach out to us. Like I mentioned before, Susie Green is our membership coordinator, and she would be the ideal person to talk to. And Susie's contact information is just there above there in the chat, sgreen@hnl.ca. Or give us a call, 1-800-563-0700.
Shelley, so I'm just reading your question there regarding liability insurance. You had indicated, you know, if someone is TAP approved, that doesn't necessarily mean that they have it. So I guess that was really one of the key purposes with TQA becoming involved in TAP criteria in that validation role. So it is self-reporting right now, but tourism operators who are providing that information on their top forms that they do carry liability insurance, they are confirming that and they're listing a number. Going forward, TQA will be playing a more robust role in confirming that operators do have that. And the exact details on how we ask for that information, the board are still working through that right now, and communication will certainly be going forward on that. But basically, the idea is that you will have to provide proof of that insurance in order to confirm that you are TAP approved. And you also made another comment there. Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to find a question here. Canada Select? Yeah, so the Canada Select program is a TQA program, of course, and Gail Dick is the senior rating advisor there. So if you have any questions, you can give Gail a call or you can send her an email on that program. It is available on the website if you just wanted to go online and check tqanl.ca. But if you have any specific questions on for your property, you can give her a call at 722-3133. And her email is gdick@canadaselectnl.com. Yeah, Shelley, if you want to just give me a call or send me an email, maybe we can connect after the webinar and just kind of go over more specifics on that insurance. I think that's about it. Looks like I think we've covered all the questions online there, have we? Someone else still typing?
There's a couple more comments coming in there. Yeah, so if there was anything that you want to get in more detail about with any of us, the easiest thing to do is to give us a call here at H&L, 722-2000, and we'll redirect your call to the right person about which topic you'd like to talk about. Those are pretty much the easiest things for us to do when it comes to fielding questions. So I think that's it for the questions. There doesn't seem to be anything else coming in over the chat window right now. So on behalf of everybody here at Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador, Tourism Quality Assurance, and Canada Select, we want to thank you all for joining today. Nancy, did you have anything else to add here at the end?
Nope, just wanted to mention there again that you're going to receive a follow-up email with some information and resources like the ones that we discussed today, and as well a link to an evaluation survey. So if you could take a couple of moments to give us your feedback, we would appreciate that. And certainly check out our website for everything related to TQA, as well follow us on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter accounts because we like to share lots of information that way there as well.
Caroline, the recording of the presentation should be available within the next 2 weeks. It just takes us a little bit of time to pull it out from the system and do some video editing on it and get it publicly available. So just give us a couple of days to work on that, and then you can get in touch with Jennifer or Nancy here at H&L and TQA to get a copy of it.
Thank you, everyone, for giving us your undivided attention here today. We really appreciate it, and we certainly look forward to working with you in the future. Have a great day.